So this question is find intersection. Have the function find intersection parameter string array. Read the array of string stored in the string array, which will contain two elements. The first element will represent a list of comma-separated numbers sorted in ascending order. The second element will represent a second list of comma-separated numbers also sorted. Your goal is to return a comma-separated string containing the numbers that occur in elements of a string array in sorted order. If there are no intersection, return the string false. So function intersection string array, read the array of string stored in array, which will contain two elements. It will contain two elements here. It will have two elements. Two elements, okay. Separated by commas. Represent a list of comma separated number. They will represent a list of comma separated numbers sorted in ascending order. The second element will second list of comma separated also sorted. So both of these elements will be sorted. My goal is to return a comma separated string containing the number that occur in the elements string array in sorted order. So I have to find the numbers that are present both in this element and in this element. As you can see here, I have 1, 1, 4, 4, and 13, 13. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, as we have to return a string array, we have to return a string, right? But I'm going to first take them into an array, then I'm going to return them in a string. So let's return cut that. Let new array is equal to be an empty array. And then I'm going to take the first element of the array is going to be 0. And I'm going to split all the things by comma. Let's see what it returns. Console.log first element. Auto clear log. And if I run the code, what it returns, it is returning me the first element separated by commas. Same thing I'm going to do with the second element as well. So second element, let's see what second element gives me. Console log second element as well. If I run, so it is giving me the second element. Why? It is going to be 1 because the second element. So 1, 2, 3. Now I'm getting this. Now all I have to do is run a loop of the first element because I'm going to play a loop using the first number and compare if second element has the first number or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a for loop. For let I is equal to 0, I is going to be less than first element dot length, and then I is going to increase. Now if the second element includes first elements I, then I'm going to push it to the new array. So now I'm running the first loop. If I see a first element loop, if I see that the first element I is present in the second element I, then I'm going to push it to this new array. Now, if I console log the new array, let's see what I have. Console.log new array, run this code. I can see that I have 1, 4, and 13, but they are in an array, so I need to convert them to string. But there is a condition that says If there is no intersection, then return false. So if there is no intersection, that means there is not going to be anything in my array. So it is going to be new array dot length is going to be 0 if there is nothing, no intersection. So it's going to return false. Else is going to return I have this array. Now I'm going to turn it into a string. How? I'm going to write new array dot join and join by a comma. Now if I console.log new array, I can see that I have the 143 and I'm going to return the new array. Mm. Oh, I already have it. So run, let's test it. Testing is okay. So let's submit it. Done. Now there is another method to solve the problem. To do that, we are going to first do the same thing, separate the elements. So it's going to be clear log const first element is going to be str then the first element, and then I'm going to split it using the same method. And now I'm going to copy paste this and I'm going to call the second element, cond second element, and is going to be 1. Now if I console log them, I can see first element and then console log second element. Okay, they are separated. Now I'm going to use the filter method. So what they are array, right? Now I have converted them into individual arrays. Now let's look at the filter method. Array.prototype.filter, it says that the filter method of array instance creates a shallow copy. So whatever I'm getting, I'll get a shallow copy and is going to be an array of a portion of a given array filtered down to just elements from given array that pass the test implemented by the provided function. So it's going to take filter, then the word it is getting, it is checking if the word length. So it is the test. It if it passes the test, then it is going to be included in an array. So let's write it down for our function. So got it. I'm going to write const result then equal to first element, and I'm going to use filter, and I'm going to get a number, right? And whatever number I'm getting, I'm going to name it number 1 because I'm getting it from the first element. Now what will be my condition? My condition is going to be take the second element, and find something. Now let's look at the method find. The find method of array instance returns the first element in the provided array that satisfies the provided testing function. If no value satisfies the testing function, undefined is returned. So if I look at the example, array1.find, it is going to get an element, and whatever the element greater than 10, it is going to, a lot of the element is greater than 10, but it is only returning the first element. So let's use it here. Find, we are going to get a number, let's call it number 2. Now I'm going to check if my number 2 is equal to number 1, then return something. So in this in this section, I am checking if 1, if the 1 is equal to 1, then it is going to return an array and I'm going to get an 1. Now it is going to find 2. If 2 is equal to number 1, let's just say 3. If it is not, then it's not going to be included in the array. Now let's look at the result. If I console log the result, let's see what I'm getting. I have fixed it. Now let's look at the result. If I run it, I can see that whatever the result I'm getting in the array. I'm getting in an array, but I want the result to be in a string. So I'm going to return this. Return. There is a condition, right? If there is no intersection, then return false. So first thing I'm going to do that. Result dot length. If it is greater than 0, then do one thing. Result dot join it by a comma, or else return false. Now if I run the test code, I can see it passes all the tests. Now let's submit this. It passed all the tests.